in the shifting, when the new CBA comes out, I think the MLB needs to figure out how to get rid of this shift because it's affecting the game. It really is. And I'll say it again.
What do you mean by changing it? Like you do have restrictions?
You can't
on
shift. You can't shift.
No, you should be able to shift. But if you want to do restrictions, I could understand that. You should be able to shift analytically though with everything else.
No, I don't think you should. I think it ruins the game. First of all, these hitters, and I'm going to go. And I wanted to talk about this the other day, and I never got a chance to talk about this. What hurts the game of baseball, and I understand it's part of the game, and in the 60s they used to shift, and so they did it in the 70s too, and it really came back with Joe Madden. Joe Madden really brought it back and really redefined what shifting was and really analytics through the shift. What hurts the shift and what hurts the game is you have these left-handed pull hitters who can't hit for average. They're shifting because they're pull hitters. They're shifting to the right side of the field. So they got to pull it to the other side. And I know everybody said they're professionals. They should be able to do that.
Yeah, that's on them, not the defense.
But that's the problem. When you're so used to doing something your whole career and you're not used to doing it the other way, you're not going to change the way you swing the ball. These players are not. No matter how good they are and how talented they are to figure it out, they're not going to do it. I think baseball...
Well, that's also how they're trained, too. A lot of the minor leagues are doing it now. So they're taught to pull the ball because of the launch angle, because of advanced sabermetric stuff. So
and
a lot of these guys can't
as
hit the ball
I was
the other
saying,
way.
They need to get rid of the shift.
But it has nothing to do with the shift. It's the way they're trained.
Really? It doesn't have to... So you're telling me if
they only
didn't,
shift because
hold on,
of
Speedy.
that.
You're telling me that if they get rid of the shift, you don't see more hits, you don't see better, more power, more doubles, more singles. Left-handers don't even get singles anymore. They either get doubles, aka Gallo today, or they strike out, or they hit for home runs. That's what they do.
Right, but you also have to take away the hits that would.
You can't make it an excuse for the shift, Speedy.
No.
It has affected the game.
What happens though if you're in it? What happens if there's a shift and there's a hit that would be a ground out in normal alignment? You have to take it both ways.
Speedy.
It only affects the game for the hitters, not for the defensive players.
No, it doesn't, but it hurts the game. Baseball. Why do people like going to baseball games? Do they want to watch a 1-0 game? Do they want to watch a 3-0 game or a 2-1 game in the 10th or 11th inning when you're putting a guy at second base?
If it's a real good pitching duel,
oh stop! Nobody wants to see a pitching duel. Nobody wants to see it. They want. Come on, Mike. You're going to sit here and tell me you don't want to see more homers? You don't want to see more runs?
If you tell me DeGrom and Scherzer are going at it and they're both pitching their asses off, I mean that's great baseball right there.
I have no problems watching 1 or 2 games where it's a pitching duel, okay?
But
when you're watching games now, hold on. When you're watching games with baseball, when an average team is only averaging 3 runs a game, that hurts the game. And the shift hurts the game. It has hurt the game since it really was brought in, again by Joe Madden when it really became popular. Now every team is using the shift in analytics, and it's affecting the game.
The Mets position player defense is number 1 in the infield because of it.
It's smart to do that because it helps you win.
I understand it's smart to do it. I think the CBA, when the new CBA comes up, I believe the MLB needs to look into it. I think they need to fix it.
I don't think they were going to get rid of it. It's been around for years.
Really? I do believe. If baseball wants to fix the game and they want to save the game because people are starting to push away from it, it is boring. I can't sit and watch a baseball game anymore right now. I can't watch a full baseball game.
But defensive alignments are also not specifically shift-oriented, too. They could be situational. You could bring the infield in. You could put a 5th guy in the infield. You could put a 4th guy in the outfield.
Speedy, how many times did you see a team shift in the 80s?
I didn't watch. I have no idea.
You've probably never seen it, okay? In the 90s, in the mid-90s, did you see any teams really use the shift?
Rarely. It had to be like those big pull hitters.
Was baseball better in that time or baseball
Yes, but it was better because of home runs, not because of defense.
No, it was better because it was more offense.
Because
it was
of
fun
home
to
runs.
watch.
Home runs are not affected to the shift.
Not only home runs. What are you talking about?
The steroid era?
That's
home runs.
That wasn't just the home runs. What are you talking about? Barry Bonds, what was his batting average? You call that home runs? You think he was hit every time he was up, he was in home runs?
People love the
steroid era. He had 72 home runs.
Right, because of that has nothing to do with the shift.
If he's batting 400 times, 500 times a year, and he only has 72 home runs, how is it home runs? How?
I'm saying the home runs were the biggest basis.
It wasn't all home runs, you dumbass. Yeah,
People
it's
are
not.
really-
It wasn't
all right,
just home runs.
I'm going to go watch singles. No, they loved it because they wanted to go watch home runs.
Not
that
just
has nothing
home
to do with
runs,
the defense.
doubles, triples. The game was fun to watch.
The triples died
Ichiro
down
Suzuki,
because of the steroid
like
era.
Carl said, even what Carl said, you can't honestly sit here and tell me. And by the way, would you play Ichiro straight up or in the shift? Right now, if the shift is allowed, I would shift. I would shift on Ichiro. But you couldn't shift on Ichiro because he'd hit it the opposite way. Ichiro was a very unique hitter. He was. He used the whole field. He was a great hitter. I've never seen the last hitter that was probably like Ichiro was Mickey Mantle.
Tony Gwynn probably too.
Tony Gwynn. Yeah. Those type of guys that used the whole field to hit the ball. Joe DiMaggio. These guys were great at doing that, using the whole field to their advantage. Ichiro is one of the greatest hitters of all time. Pete Rose, too, used the whole field. So there are hitters that do that, but it ruins the game. Shifting, has ruined the game.
Carl, to further your question more, it also will depend on the pitcher, too, because different pitchers are ground ball type pitchers, lefty versus righty. There's obviously a difference in terms of how hitters could go the other way, what types of pitch motions there are, too. That would change the shifts, but most of the time you could not play Ichiro straight up. But going back to what I said originally, though, because there's not a lot of Ichiro type hitters in today's game, that's why you see teams, because of the more pull hitters, shift more, and you're going to see it more the way they're developed.
It ruins the game. Don't you get it? It ruins the game. I can't sit and watch a game anymore. It's boring. It is boring. I can't. Put a baseball game on right now. Put the Yankee game on instead of watching track and field. Put the game on. If you put the game on right now, unless you're seeing home runs, it's 3-2 right now, Seattle. I guarantee you, Seattle's two out of Seattle's three. I guarantee you, 2 out of Seattle's 3 runs were home runs. Or a home run.
But that's nothing to do with the shift. That has to do with the game.
I understand that. Here's how it affects the shift, you moron. I'm gonna explain it to you. If they can't hit in the field, what do they try to do? They try to pull it and hit home runs.
That's what they're trying to do anyway. That's the way they are.
That's not the way they are.
Unless you're DJ LeMahieu or a hitter like that.
Really? You're going to tell me that Aaron Judge is going to hit home run every time he goes up? He's trying to hit home run every time he goes up?
I'm not saying they're trying every time. I'm saying that
they have to now because they're shifting.
That's also how they're trained, though, in the minor leagues.
Mark Teixeira. How many times did I hear Mark Teixeira complain about the shift? And I don't care what you say, Speedy. It has affected the game. It's ruined the game. It's ruined the game. And for you to sit here, Mr. Baseball fan, and think that it doesn't ruin the game, you're as blind as everybody else.
If you can use analytics for everything else.
Bullshit.
You can use it for defense.
Shit. Okay? I'm not going to sit here.
All right,
I'm going to curse.
All right.
Because this is ridiculous.
Okay, so in your baseball, let's just have, all right, we're going to put all dots all over the field. The fielders have to start there at all times. They can't bring the infield
in.
No double play.
What does a third baseman do? He covers the third base line. Okay. What does a shortstop do?
All right, so you're saying.
What does a shortstop do?
Cover the middle of the field. But,
okay, hold on. What does a second baseman do?
Okay, covers near second base.
Okay, why is a third baseman, when you're shifting, playing second base, and a second base
keep the shortstop over there?
Again, it ruins the game. Play your goddamn position. That's what you're there for.
If you don't shift, though, that means you're saying they should have a designated spot to start every time. That means, all right, you can't move the infield in. You can't have a fifth outfielder. You can't.
No, you can't shift. You can't.
All right, so don't have double play depth then. I mean,
first of all, double play depth. You could still play. You could still have a double play even with the shortstop standing close to the second base.
I know that, but teams do that anyway. That's not shifting, and they did that before shifting got re-popular.
Do you understand what I'm saying by shifting, you moron?
Yes, I do. You're talking about the most extreme things, which is fine, but you're saying that they shouldn't have any kind of freedom of motion to do that, and that would take away the covering up for a stolen base. That would take away a double play depth, which it was done before shifts were popular too. So that was also 80s, 90s, stuff like that. They all did that. Here, let me ask you a question, Speedy. You sit here right now. You like the game of baseball? Yes.
Yeah, of course you do. You're a moron. That's why. That's just a stupid young kid that really never got a chance to watch 90s baseball. Okay? And I'm not talking about the steroids. I'm not even talking about when 95, 96, after the strike. I'm not even talking. Before that, in 94, 93, 92, 91, well, 94 was the strike, but when that in the late 80s, that was when the game was fun to watch. That was when you can see guys like Ken Griffey Jr. coming out of the woodwork. You see all the different players you come out of the woodwork. If I can remember some of the players, the Don Mattingly's of the world, the Paul O'Neills of the world with the Reds. These were good players, guys that can hit the ball. Speedy, you are arguing
semantics
to try and beat Errol's argument, and I agree with him.
But again, you're now sounding like a lot of the fans that are saying, why are you changing all these rules in order to rewrite baseball? A lot of the reasons people people hate Rob Manfred is because he's changing the rules too much. So now you're going to change it back again, and it's like all of a sudden you're going to lose those other fans.
Here's what I'm saying. Baseball needs to figure out how to stop the significant shift. Moving the third base. You cannot shift the third baseman to play shortstop. You can't do that.
I think we got a call on my side.
All right, so put him through.
All right.
Who do we got?
Yo, Errol, guess who?
What's up, Brian?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Are you educating Speedy on 80s and 90s baseball?
Oh, absolutely, bro. And I feel bad for Speedy because he wasn't alive, and he loves the game of baseball right now. I think the game of baseball is completely ruined, Brian.
I'll tell you one of my favorite pitchers in the 80s that I loved watching. And your fans know I'm from Chicago, but one of my favorite pitchers I loved watching, Doc Gooden.
Mm-hmm. And we were, believe it or not, we're working. We were supposed to get Doc Gooden on yesterday. I'm working on getting him on next week to get him on a recorded interview with him. But Doc is getting he's getting an award out here at a golf course in Smithtown in a couple of weeks, and I'm actually hosting it and giving him the award. So
nice, very nice.
Yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
It's all right. I mean, Doc Gooden, Nolan Ryan, Steve Carlson, those are pitchers, man. Those are pitchers I grew up watching. Fernando Valenzuela, when he would look up to the sky with his tornado windup. You're right. That's when baseball was fun. That's when you had the miraculous Braves come back. Sean McDonough saying, for the first time in history, the World Championship banner will fly north of the border. And I was at, tell you a 93 story. I was at Comiskey Park, New Comiskey Park, when the White Sox clinched the West Division.
I remember that.
Ken Griffey Jr. and the Seattle Mariners.
Speedy wasn't even alive for that. Speedy was a wet dream.
I probably wasn't even being created yet. My parents got married in 93.
Speedy, you admitted that on air, not us. All right?
No. Errol said it. I just said my parents got married in 93.
Well,
okay.
What I'm saying is that when I watch the game of baseball, and I love the game of baseball. It's America's pastime, but the game has completely changed. And I don't
because they keep changing all the rules and they keep changing the balls and everything else.
It has
this
changed.
and that.
Yeah, well, and that's fine. The balls, the bats, the corkness, next thing we'll know. Next thing you'll know, the umpires are giving the catcher steroids. Who knows? I mean, we're gonna hear they're juicing the ball behind the plate. Who knows? I mean, the crazy stuff that we hear with professional sports now. I mean, seriously.
He said the catchers are juicing the baseball.
I mean, what bothers me about baseball, and it's a great conversation. Abib brought it up, is the way the game is completely. I know they're trying to make it an offensive game. Look what they're doing in extra innings now. They're putting a guy at second base.
Well,
second base,
that's
yeah. They're using a travel baseball rule.
Mm-hmm.
I watched 7 years doing travel baseball.
It ruins the game. That's softball rules. I mean,
they only did that
it does.
COVID.
It's travel baseball rules come to life, and I never thought I'd see it outside of travel baseball.
Yeah,
I never thought I'd see it.